Buckle up as you're about to experience the absolute dirtiest, the nastiest, and the most disgusting vehicles that you've ever seen getting cleaned up to look new again. In this video, you're going to see the top 10 of the worst cars that I've ever cleaned. From vomit-covered floor mats, to needles and lacy underwear, mounds of french fries, and all kinds of unidentifiable goop and stains, this is going to be a wild ride, so stay tuned.
Okay, well, kicking things off at number 10 is a vehicle that very well might have been a crime scene inside. That's right, it's the 2015 Honda Civic that had some very questionable stains in the seats.
Now, it's not often that I'm grossed out by a vehicle, but this one sure did it. The stains in these seats are traumatizing to say the least, and aside from that, the rest of the interior wasn't much better. The story on this one is that the owners had taken the car to the local Honda dealership to have them clean it, but they told them they tried and weren't able to, which is where I came in. When you see stains like this, all of the seats had to come out, and it was clear that I'd need to use a lot of carpet cleaner, and if I wanted to get them perfectly clean, well, it was going to take a fair bit of work. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, is he cleaning up a crime scene right now? Well, the answer is no. The owners of this car have young kids who unfortunately spilled chocolate milk in here quite some time ago, but no matter what this is, it just looks insanely nasty coming through the extractor.
Moving up to number 9 on the list, and it's none other than the Dodge Durango.
This was, of course, another vehicle where kids made a good chunk of the mess. Every single inch of the interior was covered, and I mean covered in some kind of mess. French fries, sunflower seeds, garbage, and all kinds of dirt. And speaking of dirt, that's exactly what the exterior was covered in too. Once the exterior was clean, I moved inside, and for the first time ever, I found live maggots living inside the vehicle. Safe to say I was disgusted, but I had a job to do, and getting the enormous amount of debris vacuumed up was the first step. After the extracting was done, it was time for all of the nasty cup holder and storage bin inserts, which, despite how gross these are, they're actually really easy to clean with some APC in my steamer. Honestly, considering how bad this Durango was when I started, the transformation it made was truly spectacular and was one the owner almost couldn't believe.
Alright, well if you thought the Durango was nasty, then let me introduce you to the 2010 Ford F-150 that looked like it came from a junkyard. A bigger vehicle means a bigger mess and an even bigger transformation.
This truck is taking things up a notch, as not only was the inside a mess, the exterior was covered in mud and even had bullets frozen in the mud. Thankfully though, dirty exteriors are a heck of a lot easier to deal with, and my pressure washer put in some serious work and got all the frozen mud off. As for the interior though, years of farming and hunting have pretty much destroyed it, so getting this to look clean and fresh was a monumental task. Now, if you're wondering how the owner could let this happen, well, it's not actually the owner's mess. He had recently bought the truck from out of town, dirt cheap of course, and when he told me if I couldn't get it clean, he was buying a new interior for it, well, he threw down the gauntlet and the challenge was accepted.
Three vehicles in and the messes are already off the charts, but it only gets worse from here. Remember the Hyundai Accent from a couple of weeks ago? Well, it comes in at number 7 on the list.
This car was recently traded in at a local dealership and they basically threw their hands up and said this is uncleanable. So they brought it to me and oh my goodness was this car dirty. The interior was coated in a thick layer of dog hair, cigarette ash, garbage, and of course tar from the former owner's nasty little habit of chain smoking inside the car. Yeah, absolutely mind-blowing, but I was tasked with the challenge of getting this car cleaned up and sellable again, and that's exactly what I did. Now, after seeing almost every kind of disgusting thing imaginable over the years, there really isn't much that gets to me these days, but when I saw the black tar that came out of the cup holder insert, and then the center console, I was just at a loss for words. Just like the dealership was when they saw how incredible the car turned out.
Coming in at number 6 on the list is a Pontiac G5 that happens to share a couple of themes with the Accent, but it presented me with things that I had never seen before and things that I hope I never will again.
This car was picked up by the new owner for a whopping $500, which likely went to fund some of the bad habits of the woman that used to own this car. To help paint that picture for you, here's a few things that I found inside. Lacy panties were first up on the list, and then came the needles. Thankfully, I had the foresight to not just dig into this mess with my bare hands, because not only did I find needles, there were condoms in here too. Pretty crazy, I know, but so was the fact that there was a bunch of ice stuck to the carpet that I had to chip away at just so I could vacuum it. Now, the only good thing this car had going for it was that it was small, so while this was an unimaginable mess to clean, I was able to do it over the course of about a day and a half, and boy did it ever turn out looking incredible.
Okay, as we've reached the halfway point of the list, you have to be thinking to yourself, what could possibly top what I've already seen? Well, the vehicle coming in at number 5 is going to do just that after it was abused for 17 years and then abandoned on a gold mine.
That's right, guys, I'm talking about the Cadillac Escalade. This vehicle had a crazy backstory and the mess to go right along with it. Clearly, the previous owner's kids absolutely trashed most of the interior because there's heaps of old food, garbage, and nasty stains in here, and that left me with a ton of work to get this vehicle presentable for the new owner. Looking at these carpets, and it's hard to believe they could ever come clean, but remarkably, they made a huge improvement despite a couple of lingering stains. Once the carpets were clean, I turned my attention to the leather, and thanks to the color of it, you could really see how dirty they were after a quick APC scrub with the steamer.
Alright guys, here's where things start to get serious. The next vehicle is my second most viewed video ever, and it's for good reason.
That's right, number 4 on the list is none other than the abandoned Chrysler 200. This car sat with the windows down for nearly a year, and Mother Nature wasn't kind to it. There were leaves everywhere, and dirt covered every inch of the interior. Even the trunk jam was full of leaves. After washing the car and getting the floor mats blasted clean, the seats all came out, and I started on vacuuming all this dirt up, which was insanely satisfying as the carpet was in great shape underneath, so this made a huge impact. Next up was the steamer and APC to scrub away all the dirt from the interior plastics, like the center console, which happened to be the dirtiest area. Looking at these reveal shots, and it's almost hard to believe how good the car turned out, the new owner was absolutely shocked, to say the least.
As the list winds down, the messes only get worse, and the vehicle coming in at number 3 was off the charts.
This Chrysler Town & Country minivan had been shuttling kids around for years and was never cleaned, leaving the mess in here truly outrageous. I distinctly remember this detail from over 4 years ago because it left such a lasting impact. The more you looked, the worse things got, especially when I opened the trunk to find a stack of carpet floor mats and one of them was covered in vomit. Yeah. Thankfully my pressure washer dealt with that one pretty quick, but as for the rest of the interior, well, that took a heck of a lot more time. What started as a nightmare turned into a brand new vehicle 20 hours later, and the owners were beyond thrilled when they picked it up.
All right guys, these last two vehicles are going to be the absolute worst of the worst. Chain smoking is a nasty little habit, and this Ford Escape is all the proof you could ever need of that.
After being deemed uncleanable by a local dealership, it was brought to me to salvage. The entire interior of this car is coated in tar from years of chain smoking, and the smell was absolutely horrifying. Even the headliner was coated in tar, and some of the things I found inside were beyond nasty. This is the type of vehicle where I already knew that I was going to have to dismantle the interior as much as possible in order to get things clean. Thankfully, that was a pretty easy process in the Escape, but what isn't going to be easy is getting this car back to a sellable condition. Now, when I started on the steaming portion of this detail, this was one of the grossest things I've ever experienced. Seeing all that tar just running down the panel like that really goes to show how much the previous owner had smoked in the car. Every inch of plastic and leather in here was coated just like that, so it was super satisfying to watch it all just melt away.
Alright guys, we have made it to number one, the dirtiest and the nastiest vehicle that I have ever detailed. And while that is a bit of a subjective thing, I think after you see this, you'll agree with me.
I've seen a lot of vehicles over the years, but not a single one has ever come close to this Kia Sedona. There aren't even words to describe this. To this day, I can vividly remember everything about this detail because it was just burned into my memory. I just couldn't unsee it as much as I wanted to. There wasn't even a single inch of this van that didn't look like a horrendous mess. After removing all of the seats, vacuuming alone made a huge difference, but it sure did take a while to get all the french fries and other old foods sucked up. The seat anchor pieces here actually ended up being the hardest thing in the whole vehicle to clean because there was just so much slimy goop stuck inside that it just took a ton of time with the steamer to get it all blasted out. But thankfully, the other areas went a little quicker. Here's a quick look at the incredible transformation the van made after 18 hours of detailing, and then what I consider to be the absolute best owner's reaction I've ever had.
How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Excellent. Wow.
Come on in, have a look.
It's so shiny.
Incredible.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's looking good now.
Yes. Oh, it looks
Yeah, have a look inside, that's obviously where all the work was. So.
Oh my goodness, there's no french fries. Wow.
Crazy.
Look at the carpet spread.
No.
Oh, it looks so good. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen it this clean since when we bought it.
Yeah, no doubt, eh?
Looks amazing.
Looks new again, so.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That's
I
insane.
can only imagine, like, there's so many french fries.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'll give you those and enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much.
It looks really good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, glad you're happy with it. So.
We are very happy.
All right.
Okay, thank
Okay, see
you.
ya. Okay guys, well thank you so much for watching. And please, before you leave, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and do me a favor and let me know down in the comments whether or not you agree with my list or if you'd make any changes to it. All right, well that's gonna do it for this one, so enjoy the guitar outro, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.